is enough said.
Happy Monday, Heat Nation. Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Hope you guys can take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. We on the road to 4,000 subscribers, and off we're gonna roll on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it. The 2023-2024 regular season has come to an end. And the Miami Heat did win their last two games of the season. Yesterday we defeated the Toronto Raptors 118-103. Posted a little short about it, but let's talk about it today, shall we? There wasn't no Duncan Robinson, there wasn't no Terry Rozier. Kevin Love got hurt his first 3 minutes out there. Of course, you know, you'd like to see the Miami Heat be fully healthy going into the playoffs, but that's just not what, the basketball gods intend for us. So it is what it is. You got to stay positive. You got to move forward. The Heat finished the season 10 games above 500 with a 46-36 record. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Groundhog's Day. We were like one game less. We were 47-35 last year, I believe. Eighth seed. We were the 7th seed last year. We're the 8th this year. But it's literally Groundhog's Day. You're an 8th seed. You're fighting for the play-in. This Miami Heat team, man, we can't make stuff easy. But, it is what it is. We've talked about the struggles and the frustrations from the regular season all year long. And when you look at the standings and you look at the fact that the Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers, and the Philadelphia 76ers all finished with a 47-35 record. Had the Heat just won 2 more of these BS games that we lost during the season, you would have been the 5th seed. You would have been vying for the top 5. So that just annoys me, and that's something the Miami Heat seriously have to address towards the offseason. Now look, Tyler Hero missed a huge chunk of games this year because of injury. Had Tyler Hero played a lot of these games, we'd probably be in a different situation. But the reason why the Heat fans, including myself, are pissed off is because we feel like that this team does not take the regular season serious. And because of that, for the last 2 years, you put yourself in a really bad position. 2022 was a good year. The Heat ended the 2022 season first seed. You had Atlanta in the first round. You had a depleted Philadelphia team in the second round. You lose in the conference finals against the Boston Celtics. I get that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe lower seeding just motivates the Miami Heat better. I don't know, you guys. I get that it's frustrating. I get that Heat fans have been pissed these last 2 regular seasons. But the point of the matter is, it's like I've said in the past, we can't cry over spilled milk. We can't trade anybody right now. We can't make any changes right now. So stay positive and trust this team moving forward. Because even though we finished the 8th seed, you guys, we were literally only 4 games down from the 2nd seed. So right there, y'all, that tells me how wide open the East is. Now, this Wednesday, the Miami Heat take on the Philadelphia 76ers. And you know what? We don't really need to talk about the game much against the Toronto Raptors. The Heat did what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to smash Toronto those last 2 games of the year. But whether we did or we didn't, we would have been in the 8th seed anyway. So none of that matters. We won. We took care of business. We finished 10 games above 500, which we have not done all season. So that part's cool. But right now is where the regular season really begins for the Miami Heat. And all this talk about Playoff Jimmy, call him Himmy. He did an article with Slam earlier where he said Playoff Jimmy is not a thing. That's not the crap I want to hear. I want to hear that Playoff Jimmy is a thing. Just like I saw in that Hulu commercial that he did with the butler Jeffrey from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When he said in the playoffs, he goes nuclear. That's what I want to hear from Jimmy Butler. Because if you saw Jimmy Butler in the postgame against the Toronto Raptors, didn't really see a super confident Jimmy. He looked annoyed. He looked frustrating. He did say this, though. He did say something that I've been saying all year long and something that Heat fans are going to attest to. That in a 7-game series, don't nobody want this smoke in the Eastern Conference. I don't care who it is. New York, Boston, Milwaukee. I don't care. Nobody wants this smoke in the first round, and that's just a fact. Every team saw what the Miami Heat did last year. And if you look at guys like Joel Embiid and Kelly Oubre and these players that are talking from Philadelphia, asking about Miami, they're putting respect in Jimmy Butler's name. They know that Jimmy Butler is playoff Jimmy. They know that Himmy's about to come out, and they know that Jimmy Butler's about to bust ass. And the Miami Heat have the perfect opportunity this Wednesday. You take on the Philadelphia 76ers. Ladies and gentlemen, Philly and Miami were evenly matched. I know Philly's been on an 8-game winning streak, but we match up great against them. We're 2-2 against them this year. We're split 50-50. But the main game that I really liked between Miami and Philly was the Christmas game. Both teams were on the healthier side, and the Heat won that game. So this game, Wednesday, you guys, is the biggest game of the season. I know we talked about the game against Indy. I know we talked about the game against Dallas. I know we've talked about other games throughout the season. But this game is the most important. Because if the Heat win this game, then they move on to the 7th seed. And who do they get? The New York Knicks. I know I said the Bucks yesterday, you guys. My mistake. The 2nd seed was won by the New York Knicks. New York Knicks don't have Julius Randle going into the playoffs. Whether that's good or bad, because we know playoff Julius is trash, that's neither here to be seen. But the one thing I don't want, sports fans, the one thing I don't want, Heat fans, I don't want the Heat to finish with the 8th seed. I'm not trying to say I have any fear against Boston. I'm just trying to say that I want the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. I want to continue this rivalry, and the only way we can do that is by getting the 7th seed. I'll be real with you guys, and I'll keep it 100. If the Heat lose against Philadelphia and still get that 8th seed, it's 50-50 between Boston and Miami. Biased fans won't agree with that. People will call me crazy saying, come on, look what Boston did to Miami in the regular season. I'll remind y'all, last year when Boston played Miami in the playoffs, everybody gave Miami, what was it? A 3% chance. And what did Miami do? They waxed that ass against Boston. I know Boston has made upgrades. I know they got Drew Holiday. I know they got Kristaps Porzingis. But the Boston Celtics have an Achilles heel, and the name of that Achilles heel is the Miami Heat. And until I'm shown otherwise, I'm not going to believe different. So right now, what the Heat need to do, focus on this dub against Philadelphia on Wednesday. Now look, Kevin Love is questionable. Duncan Robinson's questionable. I don't know if Duncan's going to play. He's still got that back issue. But the Miami Heat did report today that they are hopeful, and it looks like it's likely that Terry Rozier plays against the Sixers. We need Terry Rozier against Philadelphia. I think that's the reason why Terry was off these last 2 games, you guys. Miami's prepping his body to get ready for Philly because this is all-in game for Miami. The Heat know what this loss does for us. It puts us against Boston. And I'm telling y'all, I'm not afraid of Boston. But there's 2 different things that I'm not liking in a potential first-round matchup with Boston. One, you have no momentum going into these playoffs. You've lost a crap load of regular season games. Morale is down. Last year, our nuts were dropped against Boston because we shocked the world against Milwaukee in round 1, and we proved everyone wrong against New York in round 2. So by the time Miami went into that series against Boston, and Wolves were down here, bro, and we were ready. Now, if we fight Boston in the first round this year, you're not going to be as highly motivated, I feel, because of the season you had, because of the injuries that you had. And another thing, you guys, Boston is going to be frothing from the mouth to play against Miami. Miami embarrassed Boston last year, embarrassed them to the point that they had to make so many changes. So now, Boston's going to be ready for Miami. You don't want that in round 1. You want to get these guys acclimated. You want to get healthier moving into the playoffs. I want Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. So Heat fans, I want to hear from you. How confident are you going into this game Wednesday against Philadelphia? Do you think the Miami Heat got this and will move on to the 7th seed? Or do you feel we're likely to get the 8th seed? And if the Miami Heat get the 8th seed, you guys, do you think we have a shot against Boston? Or do you think this will be 2021 all over again and we'll get bounced on the first round just like we did in Milwaukee? Let me know in the comments what you think, you guys. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you for everyone that does support the channel. I love y'all. Y'all the real MVPs. Enjoy your Monday. And that is enough said. Stay positive, Heat fans.